So welcome to Two Expats Abroad. This week we are going to talk about, which is following up from our previous episodes, lifelong learning. And we touched on it at the end of the last episode, why when we leave school, it's very easy for us to just say, oh, that's me done. I'm not going to be learning anymore. It's a really bad cultural habit that we have. And I think that today our goal is to challenge that. How are you, Kieran?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. It's one of those that I'm passionate about. And the sole reason I'm passionate about it is because I've seen the noticeable difference between the Kieran that didn't read only when he was forced to, and even when he was forced to, he still didn't read, versus the Kieran that does read and continues to read and continues to see things happen for him in terms of that 3-year vision that I talk about a lot. Like everything that is happening to me in my life, the fact that I'm abroad, the fact that I invest in property, the fact that, you know, I run several businesses, and the fact that I know for sure that I will end up building my own house, which is one of my biggest goals that I've ever had, all comes from the belief that and the discipline of being exposed to ideas in these things. So I'm just incredibly passionate about it because I didn't read. It's the thing in school, isn't it? It's like, oh, make sure you read, do enough reading for your exams, do this, do that.
I was hopeless at that.
I never did. And what did that get me? My targets were A's and I got B's and C's. So, you know what, there might be other things there, but ultimately I didn't fail in school, but I came close to failing in school. And that's because I didn't apply myself and I didn't do enough work and I didn't learn.
Yeah. So one statistic I have seen is that by the age of 45, most men have learned more in the previous decade than the decade to come because of that tendency to not challenge themselves, not open a book, that sense that it's done. I've ticked the box. I've gone through school. I'm educated. It's just wrong. And, you know, everything in me. I was the same. I didn't like school. But when I left school, you know, and I talked about my story, but reading, I liked reading. I always liked reading books, you know, these types of personal development books and challenging some of my conditioned thinking and stuff like that. And I think most people do when they set themselves a challenge. You know, I'll recommend a book to someone who hasn't read something. And they'll always come back and go, that was really interesting. It made me think. And I wouldn't say only read books. Set yourself challenges. Go meet people who know stuff in a area that you want to know stuff about.
Yeah, like lifelong learning is the episode, and learning comes in many different shapes and forms. And I think the people I've learned the most from and the environments that I've learned the most in are being surrounded by people that are maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead of me, but they're where I want to be. And it's just by soaking up every single thing that they do, how they live, what they eat.
Yeah.
You know, to the micro. Yeah. I've lost myself there. But ultimately, like, if they've got what you want, then you do the things that they've done.
Yeah. And most people are open to telling you, you know, how they've achieved things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where it comes down to. A lot of people are not exposing themselves to those types of people because for whatever reason, imposter syndrome, I know that that's very common in people. They might feel like, oh, that person's out of my league in a way, or they mightn't, you know, feel confident to be able to ask somebody that has experience in a certain realm, you know, how they did those things. And in some way I can understand that, but in another way, that's where the growth is. That's your growth arc. If you recognize that there's somebody who I feel a little bit overawed by, ask yourself the question, what's going on there? What are you identifying with yourself? Is it your class? Is it your whatever it is? And ask yourself, why is that stopping me?
And I can't say this enough, just reach out. If there is that one person that you look at and you go, they've got everything that I want, reach out to them, please. Like, because you'd be surprised that they want to help. People want to help. And if it's not that particular person, find somebody like them.
Yeah. There's always someone willing to open a door.
Yeah. No, that's what I'd encourage as well. But some of the greatest ideas and ventures and projects that I'm involved with, I've started on a piece of paper like that. I mean, the 2 books that are on the top here, How to Own the World, which sounds, ridiculous. Who wants to own the world? And if you did own the world, what would you do with it anyway? But don't forget that that's just to sell a book. But the ideas in here are all around personal finance, habits, discipline, different economic principles, and like all things that will ultimately benefit you in your personal circumstances should you wish to follow through with them. That's quite heavy, this one.
In what way?
Literally and figuratively. Like it's a lot of different concepts, which you could argue is how to own the world. It's all of the different asset classes. It's how asset classes move and why they move and why sometimes they can get manipulated as well and what to be aware of. But so it's heavy. I wouldn't start with this one. The one there, Psychology of Money, that's a really good starting place. It's way more streamlined, way easier for the person who doesn't necessarily read that often. Read that one first, and then obviously open your eyes to some other concepts. But
and so for you, if you start with you having read those books, what did reading those books introduce you to and allow you to sort of frame yourself in terms of your next steps and moving forward?
So Psychology of Money brought to my attention all of the maybe bad habits, or even you mentioned this quite a lot, is the story that you narrate to yourself based on maybe your upbringing, your environment, the town that you grew up in, friends, family, whatever, that money doesn't grow on trees, or it debunks those myths, for example. So it brings to your attention maybe some of the things you've got going on inside your head, but it also builds up a discipline, and alludes to maybe some of the lifestyle things that you can have and benefit from by just being disciplined with money. Nobody enjoys being skint. You can, like, if you're skint and you're struggling with money, these things will get you out of that situation. They'll give you ideas to get yourself out of that situation, because that's not enjoyable. I've been there, I've seen friends there, I've seen family members there, and it's correctable. But only if you're open to lifelong learning.
Yeah.
It's not correctable if you don't see, that you can ask that person the question, you can take them for a coffee, you can read a book, you can watch a YouTube video even, but be open to lifelong learning. Don't just watch Netflix.
Do you know what I find a really interesting way to get people to understand if they have the capacity for, being open to changing their mind, is to ask them, can they remember the last time they actually changed their mind? Because that's a signal that tells them, what was it that I last changed my mind? Because if someone can't remember the last time they changed their mind about something, it's an indication that they, might have a fixed mindset in a certain area, and be just identifying with the same things over and over again. And there's a rigidity in that if they're not challenging themselves, they're staying stuck in the moment.
There's a famous quote that I love, and I think it's a business concept that has turned out to be true in my life in a few occasions, is if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, that's the name for the episode.
Oh, is it?
Well, let's do it.
We decided in this moment, if you're not growing, you're dying. And it was business concept where I first got exposed to the concept.
I think that's Jim Rohn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very possibly could be Jim Rohn. It sounds like something that Jim would say.
Yeah.
Jim, like we know him, but he's a great guy. But yeah, if you're not growing, you're dying, and I took that as a business principle, and it's so true, and it's true in life as well.
Yeah, like you're not physically dying, but like you are spiritually, mentally dying. You know, that's what atrophy is. If you're not growing, it's, you know, you're deteriorating.
Mm-hmm. Like if you don't use your muscles, they'll deteriorate.
Yeah.
Literally. If you don't use your brain, it'll deteriorate.
Yeah, I said this quote to you the other day. It's by a guy called Alvin Toffler. He said, the illiterates of the 21st century are not those who can't read and write. They're those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that's really important to unlearn. A lot of people are walking through life with old paradigm stuff. They haven't updated their beliefs on certain things or their methods or ways of doing things. And why that's important is because take any industry, take marketing, for example. If people are, you know, only focusing on putting stuff in newspapers and magazines and they're dismissing the value of social media, they're dropping the ball big time if they want to, you know, move forward. And a lot of people are doing that in terms of their ideas. They're not updating and relearning things that will move them forward in their life, you know, regarding health or regarding their relationships, regarding communication styles, just regarding themselves and their relationship with themselves. That's why I think it's so important to challenge your thoughts. A lot of people, not my people, the type of people I hang around with or want to be with, but they become almost offended when you challenge them on a certain idea that they hold. Those people repel me. I'm not not the greatest fan of people that
I shout from the rooftops about challenging your bias.
Yeah.
I remember somebody that I look up to still to this day said it once to me. And you know, when somebody you look up to says something, you usually listen. And he says, just make sure that you challenge your bias.
Yeah.
And it was from an investment perspective. So every time I now make an investment decision, I challenge my bias.
Yeah.
So yes, I've always invested in property, but does that mean I'll always invest in property? No, not necessarily.
And I can imagine that, you know, you inherit a bias over time. The more that you get involved in property, that bias can become stronger. And that's why it becomes more important to challenge it,
Yeah. So I'd shout that from the rooftops, and I think that I agree with you. Like, I love to surround myself with people that are able to challenge their biases, that are able to see both sides of an argument and then come back to you with their own justification of their decision. But not that they're just unwilling to hear the other side. And again, those types of people are lifelong learners anyway. So yeah, that's what I'd say as well.
Is it?
One thing I love, by the way, is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett. How are you pronouncing it?
Warren Buffett.
Have you had a conversation with the man?
No.
So I'm pronouncing it Warren Buffett.
Well, you can do that.
No. Jokes aside, though, there was a quote about how he spends 80% of his day reading. Now, arguably one of the most successful men,
investors
on this planet. So I haven't got the time in my day to do that. But if he's doing it, it must be something that's worked for him. So as an investor, I'm gonna listen to that, and I'm gonna be like, can I take something from that? What can you take from the people that are doing the things that you want to be doing? Be open to lifelong learning.
Yeah, and this was the key part of Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Sharpening the Saw, he calls it. If you're not, you know, in some way, again, relearning and unlearning some of that old stuff and sharpening the saw, keeping up to date with what's prevalent in your industry, you will get left behind. It's every industry is the same. People are looking for a cutting edge in everything. If you just look at the way the AI market is evolving, some of the companies are giving out like billion-dollar contracts to some of the best programmers,
The brightest thinkers.
yeah.
The ones that are open-minded.
Yeah.
The ones that haven't decided to just do things the way they've always done them. They're open to ideas. So the brightest thinkers are now securing the biggest contracts.
Exactly.
And I think like just that in general, like the whole AI space, look how, and I know that it's evolving and it's ever changing. But
like it's changing nearly every day now. It's really, really, it changes so much. My business partner, he talks about, oh, there's a new model, Gemini 3 is out, and you know it's way better than Claude. Oh, Claude is after doing an update now, and it's the best. Oh, GPT is after giving us the new version, and it's the best thing ever. So it's happening almost weekly now.
yeah, and understandably, that's having an effect in the job market. There are less jobs available, and that's because people are sat around the tables now going, where have we got inefficiencies, and can we improve those inefficiencies through AI? And if they're asking that question, then you need to be the person that is open to learning, so that you can bring ideas to the table and back yourself and put value onto your shoulders.
Exactly. That's why I would really encourage people to just start with 20 minutes a day reading, you know, upskill in some direction, or not even in your industry, but if there's an inkling in you to move or pivot into a different industry, how can you start that process? What can you do? Who can you introduce yourself to? I know we mentioned this before, but there must be someone that knows someone who's in an industry that you want to get into that you can ask, and you can just leverage that person. And it can be as small as just making the ask.
Leverage. I love that. Like the concept of leverage. My favorite book, one of my favorite presents is the book called Life Leverage. And it's just seeing the world through a different lens and looking around you and going, who can I leverage? What can I leverage? How can I leverage it? Because the knowledge is there. It's been done before usually. So get yourself around good people, read more, be open-minded, ask questions, challenge your biases, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, like there's communities for everything these days. You know, that you can find people on meetup.com, or, you know, there's the social media, there's Facebook groups that you can join related to something that you're interested in. Just don't stand still. Find your people. They're there. Go find them. It's there. It's really there. It's waiting for you to grab the future that you want.
Yeah. I can't disagree with anything that you're saying. It's there for everybody, but you've got to be willing and able to go and grasp it.
Yeah. And there's one more quote I just want to say, and then we can wrap it up. Formal education makes a living. Self-education makes a fortune. That was Jim Rohn.
And that is a good place to end the episode.
Absolutely.
Can you say, there's two that you've mentioned in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
That one, and then the learn, unlearn.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you say that one again, because I want to.
The illiterates of the 21st century are not those who can't read and write. They're those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin Toffler.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. And then just lastly, that other one again.
Formal education makes a living. Self-education makes a fortune.
And
that's gold.
That's a good place to end the episode.
Absolutely. Guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.